So unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, we figured out this entire algorithm. So I felt like there wasn't much else to analyze here. I mean, you could argue that a lot of this profit is being made from the leverage, but then you'd want to calculate something like what is the leverage adjusted return, and also consider facts like the trading account may have access to 1 to 500 leverage, but you can't just divide by 500 because the trader may have access to 500 times leverage but not actually be using the full 500 times leverage all the time. So in my initial planning for this analysis, I thought that would be stuff like that would be interesting to work out and profile this, but by the fact that we've just figured out the entire game here, it's not really worth going into. And yeah, any conclusions that would be drawn from any analysis would just be a consequence of properties of the martingale trading strategy. And yeah, just for interest's sake, I did also have a look at the balances and withdrawal and deposits, essentially, since we did filter out those elements, those lines from our data. So looking at the withdrawals and deposits, we just found that okay, we had about 11,000 in withdrawals and 5,000 6,000 in deposits. So we're getting net withdrawals of about 5,000 over the past 2 years. So the start time and the end time, so the day of the first trade on the account and the last trade on the downloaded datasheet. So that's approximately 2 years, giving us approximately $212.79 of return per month, which is not very bad. Also considering that this excludes subscriptions, since this is a Signal, and currently we see that the Signal has 31 subscribers at $35 per month. So this does seem profitable, but I do want to put a disclaimer that yeah, the martingale trading system is essentially gambling. So it is rather strange to me that people are paying to copy a gambling strategy. And I suspect that given what I read in some of the reviews and some other reviews on other signals, that quite a lot of the people who subscribe should understand that this is a very risky strategy. And yeah, I don't know, it's people's propensity to love gambling, I guess, where they don't mind as long as there's a potential of making quite a lot of money. Also, another thing we don't account for is that maybe this is perhaps just one successful account by the author, and several other martingale signals or accounts have been created before that have failed, and we're just seeing the successful one. So this is maybe survivorship bias. And yeah, I think that's all the comments I have for this. I'm not encouraging gambling. Please don't gamble. This is a pretty high risk thing, and essentially not even high risk, just effectively gambling. And yeah, that's that. Thank you. Just a final edit. Throughout the analysis, I did use the word martingale more to mean negative progression system. So yeah, I sort of defaulted to the word martingale because a martingale is the quintessential example of a negative progression system, which is a system whereby you bet more as you lose with the hope of recovering your losses and even recovering a little bit more than your losses. Also looking at the volume progression used in the data, it's not necessarily doubling each turn, so it is not necessarily a martingale itself, but more perhaps closer to one of the other negative progression betting systems. But yeah, just a bit of terminology. I sort of just used the quintessential term martingale to mean the more general negative progression betting system. And yeah, thanks. That's that.